Have you ever wondered why the night sky feels like a lullaby woven in starlight? Before you close your eyes tonight, imagine for a moment that the universe is not just a vast, dark space, but a silent ocean of history waiting to rock you to sleep. From the ancient campfires of our ancestors to the quiet hum of distant planets, there is a peaceful rhythm above us that has never stopped playing. Tonight, let us leave the noise of the world behind and travel back through time to discover the quietest, most comforting secrets the cosmos has kept just for you. Close your eyes now. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw relax. And let the breath flow in and out of your body like a slow, steady tide. Tonight, we are going on a journey. We are leaving the lights of the city, the glow of screens, and the hum of modern machinery far behind. We are drifting back through the currents of time, back before the skyscrapers, before the stone castles, before even the first written word was carved into clay. We are going back to the beginning, to a time when the night was absolute and the silence was a physical weight, wrapping the world in a blanket of peace. Imagine the world as it was 40,000 years ago. The air is crisp and incredibly clean, smelling of pine needles, damp earth, and wild sage. You are standing in a vast open savanna, or perhaps near the entrance of a shallow cave nestled in a limestone cliff. The sun has just dipped below the horizon, painting the western sky in fading strokes of violet and deep indigo. As the blue hour deepens into true black, the temperature drops, cooling the skin, making the warmth of the fire nearby feel like a gentle embrace. This is the era of the first campfires. Picture a small circle of our ancestors. They are gathered around a pit of glowing embers. Watch the fire for a moment. See the way the orange flames dance and lick at the air, mesmerizing and rhythmic. Listen to the soft popping sound of the dry wood, the crackle that sends tiny sparks floating upward like fireflies ascending to meet the stars. This fire is more than just heat. It is the center of their universe. It is the original sanctuary. Inside this circle of amber light, there is safety. Outside, in the obsidian dark, lies the unknown. But here, near the warmth, there is only rest. As the tribe settles down for the night, wrapped in furs and woven grasses, the conversation dies down to a hush. The children are asleep, their breathing syncing with the rustle of the wind in the tall grass. The elders lean back against the cool rocks, and then, as they have done every night for 1,000 generations, they look up. In our modern world, we rarely see the true sky. We see a few dozen stars fighting against the glow of streetlights. But in this ancient time, the sky is a revelation. It is a ceiling of diamonds so dense, so bright, and so overwhelming that it looks less like black space and more like a river of light. Without pollution to dim them, the stars don't just twinkle, they burn with a steady, piercing clarity. Imagine lying on your back on the soft earth, looking up at that prehistoric sky. The Milky Way is not faint, it is a thick, luminous band of pearl-white light that stretches from one horizon to the other. To our ancestors, this wasn't a galaxy of gas and dust, it was the backbone of night. It was a celestial river where the spirits walked. It was a bridge connecting the mountains of the east to the oceans of the west. It hangs there, suspended in the silence, a glorious archway over the sleeping world. For these early humans, the night sky was the very first storybook, and it was also the very first clock. In a world that could be unpredictable, where storms could rise suddenly and herds of animals moved with the seasons, the stars were the one thing that never lied. They were the ancient watchers. Think of the comfort that brought them. No matter how difficult the hunt, no matter how cold the wind, when the sun vanished, the stars returned. They were faithful. They were the guardians that watched over the camp while the humans slept. As you gaze up in your mind's eye, notice that the patterns are slightly different than they are today. Over thousands of years, the stars drift like slow ships on a dark ocean.
but the feeling is the same. There is a profound sense of order up there. Our ancestors began to notice that certain lights moved together. They connected the dots in their minds, drawing pictures of the things they honored, the great bear, the hunter, the swan. These weren't just random points of light, they were familiar friends. When the cluster of stars we now call the Pleiades, the seven sisters, rose in the twilight, they knew that winter was coming, and it was time to prepare the warm shelters. When the bright star Sirius sparkled low in the sky, they knew the rivers would soon flood and bring life to the valley. This predictability was the most relaxing fact of their existence. It meant that the universe had rules. It meant that the chaos of the day would always resolve into the structure of the night. Imagine an ancient elder pointing a weathered hand toward the northern horizon. There, in the center of the swirling heavens, was a point of stillness. The stars circled around it, a slow, majestic carousel of light. To watch that slow rotation was to be hypnotized. It takes the Earth 24 hours to complete a turn, a motion so smooth we cannot feel it, yet we can see it in the slow march of the constellations. Lie there with them now by that ancient fire. Feel the radiant heat on your face and the cool ground beneath your back. Watch the stars above. They seem fixed, but if you watch long enough, you see them creeping westward inch by inch. It is a movement so slow it mimics the rhythm of sleep itself. It is not a rush, it is a drift.
There is a concept called the music of the spheres, an idea that would come thousands of years later, but our ancestors felt it first. They felt that the movement of the heavens was a silent song, a harmony of perfect proportions. The silence of this prehistoric night is not empty. It is heavy with presence. It is a silence that creates space for the mind to unspool, for the muscles to unclench. As the fire burns down to glowing red coals, the light softens even further. The shadows of the surrounding trees lengthen and merge with the dark. The only sound is the rhythmic chirp of crickets, a sound that has remained unchanged for millions of years, and the soft crackle of cooling ash. In this moment, there is no time. There is no tomorrow to worry about, no yesterday to regret. There is only the now of the starlight. Consider the light hitting your eyes from those stars. Even then, 40,000 years ago, that light had traveled for centuries to reach them. They were looking at the past, just as we do. It is a gentle reminder that our lives are part of something much larger, something that endures. The ancestors believed that as they slept, their spirits could wander up that path of the Milky Way, bathing in the starlight to recharge their souls. Sleep was not just a physical necessity, it was a communion with the cosmos. They trusted the night. They trusted that while they closed their eyes and let go of consciousness, the ancient watchers would remain open-eyed and vigilant. The great bear would patrol the northern sky. The hunter would march across the zenith. The morning star would eventually herald the dawn. But for now, the darkness is a friend. It is a velvet cloak pulled tight around the shoulders of the earth. Breathe in that ancient air again. It is cool and still. Feel the connection to those who came before you. You are looking at the same moon they looked at. You are being held by the same gravity. You are part of this long, unbroken chain of dreamers who have found solace in the dark. The fire is now just a bed of soft, pulsing warmth. The visual stimulation of the world has faded away, leaving only the grand, glittering abstraction of the universe above. It is a view that demands nothing of you. It asks for no emails, no decisions, no movement. It simply asks you to witness its beauty and to rest. Let the vastness of that prehistoric sky put your own thoughts into perspective. Under the gaze of eternity, your worries become small.
drifting away like smoke from the dying fire. You are safe here. You are protected by the rhythm of the spheres. The stars are rising, peaking, and setting, rocking the cradle of the world. And as the first humans drifted off into the dream world, surrounded by the scent of wood smoke and the safety of their tribe, they knew that the sun would return. But until then, the stars were enough. The silence was enough. The peace of the cosmos was theirs to keep. So let yourself sink into that same primitive, deep relaxation. The watchers are above you still. The rhythm continues. The fire of the stars burns on, silent and steady, singing you a lullaby of light that has lasted for all of time. Sleep now under the canopy of history, and let the ancient night carry you away. Leave the flickering light of the ancient campfires behind now. Let the smoke of the pine wood drift away into the ether of history. We are moving forward in time, gently, slowly, like a leaf floating down a wide, calm river. Thousands of years are passing in the blink of an eye, melting away the ice ages, warming the earth, and turning the brown tundra into lush, rolling oceans of green. We arrive now in a time of mist and moss, deep in the heart of the Neolithic era, roughly 5,000 years ago. The setting has changed. We are standing on the Salisbury Plain in ancient Britain, or perhaps amidst the heather of the Scottish Highlands. The air here is different. It is heavy with the scent of rain, damp soil, and sweet grass. It is a cool, moist air that feels cleansing to breathe. Before you, rising out of the mist like silent giants, stands a circle of stones. Imagine walking towards them. The grass beneath your feet is soft and wet with dew, muffling your footsteps. Everything here is quiet. The only sounds are the low, distant bleating of sheep and the wind sighing as it weaves through the tall grass. As you get closer, the sheer scale of the stones becomes clear. These are not just rocks, they are monuments to patience. They are the sarsen stones, gray, weathered, and covered in patches of velvet green lichen and bright orange moss. Reach out in your mind and touch one of them. It feels cold, solid, and impossibly heavy. It is rough against your palm, pitted by 5,000 years of rain and wind. Lean your weight against it. It does not move. It feels rooted to the core of the earth itself. In a world that is constantly moving, constantly rushing, there is something deeply relaxing about an object that simply stands. It has stood here while empires rose and fell. It has stood here while languages were born and forgotten. It stands here now, for you, a symbol of absolute stability. These stone circles, Stonehenge, Avebury, Callanish, were the world's first true observatories, but they were not built with metal and glass. They were built with earth and sweat and an understanding of the sky that we have almost lost. Think of the people who built this. Imagine the slowness of their lives. There were no engines, no wheels, no clocks ticking on the wall. There was only the sun and the moon. To bring these stones here, they had to drag them for miles, rolling them over logs, pulling them with ropes woven from plant fibers. It took generations to finish a single circle. A grandfather might lay the foundation, and his great-granddaughter might finish the linters. They were in no hurry. They understood that to build something eternal, one must move at the speed of the earth. Let that sense of slow, deliberate purpose wash over you. You do not need to rush to sleep. You do not need to force it. Like the builders of the stones, you can simply lay one brick of relaxation at a time, trusting that the structure will be completed. Now imagine standing in the center of the circle as the sky begins to change. It is the dawn of the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. The air is cool, a distinct gray-blue that heralds the morning. The crowd of ancient people stands around you, but they are silent, waiting. They are wrapped in wool tunics, their breath visible in the morning chill. All eyes are fixed on a single point, the heel stone, a rugged monolith standing alone outside the main circle. The sky brightens, the gray turns to lavender, then to a soft burning peach, and then in a moment of perfect cosmic alignment, the sun peeks over the horizon. The first ray of light shoots across the landscape like a golden arrow. It glides over the grass, passes the heel stone, and strikes the very center of the monument, illuminating the altar stone.
It is a perfect fit. The chaos of the universe is suddenly organized. The sun is exactly where it is supposed to be. This was the gift of the stone circles. They revealed the rhythm of the seasons. They told the people that the universe was a cycle. It was a wheel that turned slowly and inevitably. If it was winter, cold and dark, the stones promised that the sun would return. If it was summer, hot and bright, the stones promised that the cool rest of autumn was on its way. There is a profound comfort in this predictability. It is the comfort of a lullaby that repeats the same soothing melody. The ancients didn't view time as a straight line rushing toward a deadline. They viewed it as a circle. Everything returns. The day returns to night. The tide returns to the sea. You return to sleep. Let your mind drift to the blue stones, the smaller stones within the circle of Stonehenge. These stones were brought from mountains over 150 miles away. Why? Because they believed these stones held healing powers. They believed that sleeping near them could cure the body and soothe the spirit. Imagine that you are lying down at the base of one of these healing stones now. The ground is supportive. The stone blocks the wind. Above you, the rectangle of sky framed by the stone lintels is turning a deep twilight blue. As the sun sets in this ancient place, the purpose of the observatory shifts. The sun is the clock of the day, but the moon is the clock of the month. Watch as the moon rises over the megaliths. It is a full moon, a bright silver coin washing the gray stones in a pale, ghostly light. The shadows of the stones stretch out long and dark across the grass. The ancients watched the moon weave through the stones, tracking its complex cycles. They knew the moon's wobble, its rise and fall over 18.6 years. They paid attention to the long game. In our modern lives, we often stress over minutes and hours. But here, in the shadow of the stones, time is measured in centuries. Your worries about tomorrow feel very small when compared to the endurance of this rock. Listen to the wind passing through the gaps in the stones. It creates a low, resonant hum, a natural acoustic effect that the ancients might have used for chanting. It is a white noise, a drone of nature that calms the nervous system. Hum, the sound of the earth breathing. The stone circle is a boundary. Inside the circle, it is sacred space. It is a place of rest. The wolves and the bears are outside. The storms are outside. Inside, there is only the geometry of the stars and the protection of the ancestors. As the night deepens, the mist begins to roll in again, hugging the ground. The tops of the stones seem to float on a sea of white fog. You are insulated from the world. The connection between the earth and the sky is palpable here. You can feel the rotation of the planet, a slow, heavy turn that rocks you deeper into relaxation. Think of the seasons passing while you rest. Visualize the circle in spring, wildflowers blooming at the base of the rocks, yellow and purple, life returning. Visualize it in summer, the stones warm to the touch, baking in the high sun, buzzing with the energy of bees. Visualize it in autumn, the grass turning gold, the harvest moon rising huge and orange, the air turning crisp. Visualize it in winter, snow dusting the tops of the lintels, silence blanketing the plain, the stones standing as dark sentinels against the white frost. Round and round the seasons go. There is no stopping them, and there is no need to control them. You can simply surrender to the cycle. You are part of nature, just like the stones, just like the stars. You have your own seasons of activity and your own seasons of rest. Right now, this is your winter. This is your time to be still, to go inward, to conserve your energy. The builders of Stonehenge are gone. Their names are forgotten, but their work remains. They left us a message in stone. Look up, look down, breathe. The universe is holding you. The heavy sarsen stones are watching over you now. They are the guardians of the night. They do not sleep so that you can. Their weight anchors your dreams to the earth, keeping you safe, keeping you steady. The mist thickens, obscuring the stars, leaving only the soft glow of the moon diffusing through the fog. The world fades to gray and soft black. The rhythm of the seasons slows down to the rhythm of your heart. Beat, pause, beat, pause. Like the shadow of the sun moving across the stone, let your consciousness slide slowly toward the dark. The circle is closed. The night is here. The stones stand guard. Drift into the silence of the ancient plain. From the grounded stability of the stone circles, our gaze now drifts upward. We leave the heavy moss and the damp earth behind, ascending on a beam of pale light, rising higher and higher until the world below is nothing but a soft, shadowy blur. We turn our attention to the brightest object in the night sky, the faithful companion, the silver guardian, the moon. It hangs in the velvet darkness like a lantern suspended by an invisible thread. It is the most familiar face in the universe. Before you knew what a star was, you knew the moon. It was the nightlight of your childhood, just as it was the nightlight for the very first life forms that crawled from the primordial oceans. Tonight, we are going to listen to the silent song it sings to the earth. To understand the peace of the moon, we must first understand its history. Science
Think of the power this silver guardian holds. It is a quiet power, a gentle authority. It does not burn or shout like the sun. It reflects. It borrows the sun's light and softens it, turning the harsh glare of day into the cool, blue-gray luminescence of night. It makes the darkness navigable. It paints the edges of the clouds with silver linings and turns ordinary rivers into ribbons of mercury. But its greatest power is the lullaby of tides. Imagine you are standing on a deserted beach at night. The sand is cool and packed hard beneath your bare feet. The air smells of salt and infinite space. Before you lies the vast, dark ocean. The water is black, merging seamlessly with the horizon, save for the path of moonlight glittering on the surface, a stairway of light leading to the moon itself. Listen. Whoosh, hush, whoosh, hush. The ocean is breathing. The water rises, rushing up the sand to touch your toes, and then it recedes, pulling back into the deep. This is the heartbeat of the planet, and it is the moon that controls it. Across hundreds of thousands of miles of empty space, the moon reaches out with its gravity. It is not a forceful tug, it is a magnetic embrace. It pulls the water toward it, creating a bulge in the ocean, a high tide. As the earth rotates beneath this water, the tides rise and fall in a rhythm that has never skipped a beat since the oceans were born. This is the lullaby of tides. It is the oldest rhythm on Earth. It is older than the trees, older than the dinosaurs, older than the mountains. Sync your breathing with this image now. Inhale as the tide comes in, filling the shore with white foam. Exhale as the tide goes out, dragging the pebbles with a soft, rattling sigh. In and out. Rise and fall. There is a profound relaxation in knowing that this rhythm is handled for you. You don't have to tell the tide to turn. You don't have to tell your lungs to breathe. The moon handles the waters. Your body handles the breath. You are free to let go. Now let your mind travel up that staircase of light, leaving the ocean behind. Let's go to the source. Let us drift across the void and land softly on the surface of the moon itself. Welcome to the Sea of Tranquility, Mare Tranquillitatis. The early astronomers looked up and saw dark patches on the moon. They dreamed that they were oceans of water, so they gave them beautiful, poetic names: the Sea of Serenity, the Ocean of Storms, the Bay of Rainbows. We know now that they are not water, but vast plains of cooled lava, smooth and dark gray. But the names remain, and the feeling remains. Standing here on the lunar surface, you experience the only true silence in the solar system. On Earth, there is always sound. Even in the quietest room, there is the hum of electricity, the wind against the window, the blood rushing in your ears. But the moon has no atmosphere. It has no wind. It has no weather. There is no medium for sound to travel. Imagine what that absolute silence feels like. It is a velvet blanket for the mind. It is a stillness so deep it feels like a physical weight has been lifted from your brain. Here, there is no rustling of leaves, no distant sirens, no voices, just the eternal, spacious silence of the void. Look around you. The landscape is a monochrome masterpiece of grays, charcoal, slate, silver, and pearl. The shadows are stark and black, stretching long across the cratered ground. Because there is no air to scatter the light, the sky above is not blue. It is a bottomless, starry black, even though the sun might be shining. In this silence, nothing changes. That is the most relaxing fact of the moon. It is a museum of stillness. When the astronauts walked here in the 1960s and 70s, they left footprints in the fine, powdery dust, the regolith. Because there is no wind to blow them away and no rain to wash them out, those footprints are still there today. They look exactly as they did the moment they were made. They will likely be there for millions of years. Think of the peace in that permanency. In our lives, things move so fast. Memories fade, buildings crumble, seasons change. But on the moon, a moment can last forever. It is a place where time essentially stops. To visualize the moon is to visualize a pause button for the universe. Feel the gravity here. It is 1/6 of the Earth's gravity. If you were walking here, you would not trudge, you would float, you would drift in slow motion bounds. Imagine your body on the bed feeling that same lightness. Your arms feel weightless, floating by your sides. Your legs feel like feathers. The heavy pull of the day's burdens is lifted by the gentle lunar gravity. From this vantage point, look back at the Earth. It hangs in the sky, a fragile blue marble wrapped in swirling white clouds. It looks peaceful from here. You cannot see the borders. You cannot hear the noise. You only see the beauty. You realize that your problems are very small, invisible specks on a beautiful blue sphere. You are safe. The moon acts as a shield, too. Look at the craters that mark its surface: Tycho, Copernicus, Kepler. These are scars from billions of years of asteroid impacts. The moon has taken the hits so that Earth doesn't have to. It sweeps its orbit, catching the debris, acting as a bodyguard for our fragile world. It is the silver guardian, silently patrolling the night, keeping watch while the planet sleeps. As we drift back down from the silence of the craters, back down the ladder of moonlight, we return to the sound of the ocean. Whoosh, hush. The tide is still moving, the connection is unbroken. The moon is rising higher now, casting its cool light through your window. It is the same light that guided the sailors home thousands of years ago. It is the same light that illuminated the paths for the night travelers. It is a light that does not demand attention, but simply offers presence. Allow yourself to be bathed in this silver glow. Imagine it seeping into your room, a mist of relaxation. It touches your eyelids, heavy and comforting. It creates a sanctuary of shadow and soft light. The guardian is at its post. The tides are rocking the oceans. The silence of the sea of tranquility is waiting for you in your dreams. The bond between the earth and the moon is the bond between a mother and a child, a rocking motion that says, "Sleep now, I am holding the balance."
Drift on the waves of that gravity. Float in the gray silence. The night is long, the guardian is bright, and you are perfectly, safely asleep. The tide of history flows onward, carrying us gently away from the lunar seas and the prehistoric shores. We drift through the river of time, centuries melting away like mist in the morning sun, until we arrive in a place of warm stone and fragrant air. The raw wilderness has given way to the elegance of civilization. We have arrived in the cradle of the ancient world, the Mediterranean. Imagine yourself now in the golden age of Greece or Rome, 2,000 years ago. You are reclining on a wide terrace paved with smooth, cool marble. The air here is different. It is soft and balmy, carrying the sweet, herbaceous scent of wild thyme, rosemary, and the faint, salty tang of the Aegean Sea. Below you, the white buildings of a sleeping city glow faintly in the starlight, peaceful and still. You are wrapped in a robe of the finest linen, light and breathable. The stone beneath you still holds the warmth of the day's sun, a gentle heat that seeps into your back, relaxing the muscles of your spine. You feel safe here, elevated above the world, in a sanctuary of stone and sky. As you look up, the sky seems closer than it does today. It is a deep, rich indigo that fades into absolute black, a texture so soft and deep it looks like heavy velvet draped over the world. To the people of this time, the sky was not a vacuum of empty space. It was a busy, living court. The stars were fixed, pinned to the ceiling of the night, moving in a perfect unison. But among them, there were rebels. There were lights that refused to stand still. The Greeks called them planetes, the wanderers. They believed these wandering lights were not rocks or gas, but living gods. They were powerful deities who walked across the sky, looking down on the mortals below. And tonight, as you lie here, they are looking down on you, not with judgment, but with a protective, silent gaze. Look toward the western horizon, where the sun has just vanished. There, hanging low and incredibly bright, is the first wanderer, Venus. To the Romans, she was the goddess of love and beauty. To the Greeks, she was Aphrodite. Tonight, she is simply the evening star. She is the first light to pierce the twilight, a brilliant diamond spark against the fading purple of the dusk. She is the herald of rest.
When the ancients saw Venus shine, they knew the work of the day was done. The oxen were unyoked, the tools were put away, and the lamps were lit. Imagine her light as a soft white flame. It is the most comforting light in the heavens because it signals the transition from doing to being. She is the guardian of the dusk. She whispers to the world that it is time to soften. Watch her in your mind's eye, glowing steadily, a beacon of pure white peace. She is watching over the lovers, the dreamers, and the tired workers, wrapping the world in a blanket of affection. Under her gaze, the harsh edges of reality are smoothed away. As the night deepens and the sky turns to charcoal, another wanderer makes his presence known. Look higher now, towards the zenith. There is a light that burns with a distinct reddish-orange hue. Mars. To the Romans, he was the god of war, a figure of chaos. But in the quiet of the night, Mars takes on a different role. To the sleeper, Mars is the sentry. He is the guardian standing at the gate. Think of a soldier who has set down his shield and spear by the fire, but who remains awake so that the village can sleep. His red glow is not the fire of battle, it is the glow of a protective ember. It is the campfire that keeps the wolves at bay. When the Romans looked up at that ruby light, they felt a sense of security. They knew that the strongest force in the universe was keeping watch. Feel that protection now. Visualize that red star as a shield placed over your home. It creates a boundary that no worry, no stress, and no fear can cross. You do not need to fight your own battles tonight. You do not need to be defensive or alert. The Red Guardian is on duty. He is pacing the ramparts of the sky, tireless and vigilant, allowing you to lower your defenses and surrender completely to vulnerability. As the hours drift by, the sky continues its slow rotation. The constellations wheel overhead in a silent procession. And then, rising with majestic slowness in the east, comes the king, Jupiter. He is unmistakable. He shines with a steady golden amber light that does not twinkle. While the other stars might flicker in the wind, Jupiter is solid. He is Zeus, the father of gods and men. He is the planet of expansion, of order, and benevolence. There is a heaviness to Jupiter, but it is a good heaviness. It is the weight of a warm quilt. It is the gravity of authority. When Jupiter is in the sky, everything feels right. He represents the cosmic order. His movement is slow and deliberate. It takes him 12 years to circle the zodiac, and this slowness is a reminder that there is no rush. The universe unfolds exactly as it should. Imagine that golden light beaming down onto the terrace where you lie. It feels like a warm hand placed gently on your shoulder, reassuring you. All is well, it seems to say. The cosmos is holding together. You can rest. The ancients believed in something called the music of the spheres. They thought that as these massive planets moved through the heavens, they hummed a frequency, a chord of perfect harmony that the human ear couldn't hear, but the soul could feel. Venus, the high, sweet note. Mars, the strong middle tone. Jupiter, the deep, resonant bass. Together, they create a silent symphony, a lullaby of vibrations that permeates the air. Can you imagine hearing it? A low, thrumming hum of peace. It vibrates in the marble beneath you. It resonates in your chest. It aligns your heartbeat with the rhythm of the galaxy. These wanderers are your companions in the dark. They are not far away. They are right there, just behind your eyelids.
In this ancient world, there is no light pollution. The Milky Way is a river of crushed pearls flowing behind the planets. The mythology of the sky is a story written for you. It is a story where you are the protagonist, the one being watched over by the greatest powers of history.
Somewhere in the shadows of this ancient city, there are temples dedicated to Hypnos, the god of sleep. The ancients would go there to be healed in their dreams. They would lie on couches just like this one, surrounded by statues of the wanderers, and drink herbal teas made of poppy and chamomile. They believed that sleep was a sacred act, a time when the mortal world touched the divine. You are in that temple now. The walls are high and safe. The incense burns low, smelling of sandalwood. The air is still. The wanderers are moving. Venus is setting in the west, pulling the curtain of night closed. Mars is standing guard overhead, a red eye in the dark. Jupiter is rising, bringing a golden promise of tomorrow. They are a family of lights, circling you, rocking the cradle of the sky. They have watched over Caesar, over Plato, over the shepherds on the hills, and now they watch over you. They have seen everything, and they remain calm. Their light is steady. Their path is sure. Let the specific worries of your modern life fade against the backdrop of this ancient velvet night. What is a deadline compared to the slow march of Jupiter? What is a moment of stress compared to the eternal vigil of Mars? You are small, but you are significant enough to be watched by the stars. The marble is cool. The linen is soft. The air is sweet. Drift away from the terrace now. Let your consciousness float up to join the wanderers. You are weightless, dancing in the silence between the worlds. The gods are at peace, and so are you. The velvet night has wrapped you in its arms. Sleep under the protection of the wandering stars. Sleep and let the universe carry you until the dawn. The wheel of time turns again. We leave the open-air terraces of Rome and the warm breezes of the Mediterranean. The centuries drift by like clouds across a moonlit sky, dissolving the empires of old, until we arrive in the year 1610. We find ourselves in the beautiful, winding streets of Padua, Italy. The atmosphere has changed. It is winter now. The air is crisp, biting, and impossibly clear. The night smells of wood smoke from 1,000 chimneys, of old parchment, and the sharp, clean scent of frost settling on terracotta rooftops. Imagine you are standing on a small, high balcony overlooking the sleeping city. It is late, very late. The cobblestone streets below are empty and silent. The shutters of the houses are closed tight against the cold. The only light comes from the stars above, and the soft, flickering glow of a single tallow candle sitting on a wooden table beside you. Standing there, wrapped in a heavy, dark wool cloak to keep out the chill, is a man. He is older, with a beard that has turned the color of salt and iron. He is Galileo Galilei. But tonight, he is not the famous scientist who will challenge the church. Tonight, he is just a man in love with the mystery of the dark. He is a watcher, just like you. In his hands, he holds an object that will change the world forever, though right now it looks quite simple. It is a tube of leather and wood, no longer than your arm. Inside, at either end, are pieces of polished glass. This is the spyglass, the telescope.
For thousands of years, humans could only see what their eyes allowed. But this tube is a key. It is a key that unlocks a door to a room no human has ever entered before. Imagine the feeling of lifting that tube to your eye. The leather is cool and smooth against your fingers. The wood creaks softly. You lean against the balcony railing to steady your hand. You close one eye, and with the other, you look through the glass. At first, there is only a blur of light. The glass is imperfect. It has tiny bubbles and a greenish tint, like looking through a frozen pond. But then, you adjust the focus. You slide the tube in and out, millimeter by millimeter, with agonizing slowness. Suddenly, clarity. You are looking at Jupiter. To the naked eye, Jupiter is just a bright star, but through the glass it becomes something else entirely. It is a world. It is a perfect glowing sphere hanging suspended in the black ink of space. It looks like a pearl dropped onto black velvet. It is distinct. It has weight. But it is not alone. This is the miracle that Galileo saw, and it is the image that will lull you to sleep tonight. Strung out in a line beside the great planet are 4 tiny points of light. They are the Galilean noons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. They look like diamond dust, tiny sparks accompanying their king. Tonight, we are going to watch them dance.
Galileo called this the cosmic waltz. He noticed that night after night, these tiny stars changed their positions. They were not fixed, they were moving. But they were not moving in chaos. They were moving in a perfect, silent rhythm. Imagine the patience required to watch this. Galileo would look, then dip his quill into a pot of ink and make a small drawing on his paper. A circle for Jupiter, 4 dots for the moons. Scratch, scratch, scratch. The sound of the pen on paper is the only sound in the night. Then he would wait. The cold air would sting his cheeks, but the wonder would keep him warm. The next night he would look again. The dots had moved. One that was on the left is now on the right. One that was far away is now close, tucking itself behind the planet. Visualizing this movement is incredibly relaxing. It is a slow-motion ballet on a scale we can barely comprehend. These moons are entire worlds, racing through the void at thousands of miles an hour, yet from this distance they appear frozen in serenity. They are silent dancers. Think of Io, the closest one. It races around Jupiter, frantic and fast. Think of Europa, the icy world, following behind in a graceful arc. Think of Ganymede, the giant, moving with steady, heavy purpose. Think of Callisto, the outermost, drifting slowly, taking its time, unhurried and calm. They weave round each other. They cross paths. They hide behind the giant planet and then emerge on the other side, like children playing hide and seek in the dark. This is the clockwork of the universe. Before this moment, the world felt unpredictable, but looking through the glass, you realize that the heavens are a machine of infinite precision. There is no grinding of gears. There's no friction. There is only the silent, smooth, eternal glide of gravity. Let that sense of order seep into your mind. Everything is exactly where it is supposed to be. The moons do not crash into each other. They do not lose their way. They follow the invisible tracks laid down by nature, round and round, forever. If there is order up there, in the vast emptiness, surely there can be order in your mind. You can let your thoughts orbit just like those moons. Let them drift. Let them pass behind the planet and disappear for a while.
You don't need to hold on to them. They will circle back when the time is right. Imagine you are looking through Galileo's telescope right now. The lens frames a small circle of the night sky. Everything outside that circle is black and non-existent. Inside the circle, there is only the glowing pearl of Jupiter and its 4 faithful attendants. The view is shaky at first, mimicking your heartbeat, but as you breathe out, your hands steady. The image becomes still. The light from those moons has traveled hundreds of millions of miles to reach your eye. It is old light. It is calm light. Galileo sat on his balcony for hours, forgetting the cold, forgetting the politics of the day, forgetting his hunger. He was fed by the beauty of the waltz. He realized that the earth was not the center of everything. We were just another dancer in the ballroom. There is a great relief in that humility. You are not the center of the universe, which means you do not have to carry the weight of the universe. You are just a small observer, watching the show. The candle on the table has burned low. The wax is dripping down the side, cooling into soft white shapes. The ink on the parchment is dry. The city of Padua sleeps on, unaware that the ceiling of their world has just been shattered and replaced with something infinite. Galileo lowers the telescope. He rubs his tired eyes. The cold has finally seeped into his bones, but it is a good tiredness. It is the exhaustion of wonder. He looks up one last time with his naked eyes. Jupiter is there, bright and steady. He knows now what is hiding in that light. He knows the secret dance. And now, so do you. As you lie in your bed, imagine that you are floating in that space between the moons. It is completely silent. There is no wind. There is only the slow, hypnotic rotation of the spheres. Round and round, orbit after orbit. The silent waltz continues whether you watch it or not. It is reliable. It will be there tomorrow. It will be there in 1,000 years. You can close your eyes now. The telescope is put away in its wooden case. The shutters are closed against the night air. The candle is blown out, leaving a thin trail of smoke that vanishes into the dark. You are left with the afterimage of that golden dance behind your eyelids. The rhythm of the moons becomes the rhythm of your sleep. Drift, circle, float.
Join the silent waltz of the night. We leave the orbit of Jupiter now. We leave behind the dance of the 4 Galilean moons and the grand, heavy gravity of the king of planets. We are drifting deeper into the dark, venturing twice as far out into the solar system. The sun behind us shrinks to a brilliant, piercing point of light, no larger than a button, casting long, sharp shadows across the void. The silence here is deeper, colder, and more profound. After a long journey through the velvet black, a shape emerges from the darkness. It is the jewel of the solar system. It is the Lord of the Rings, Saturn. Imagine seeing it for the first time, floating in the absolute stillness of space. It is not the striped, stormy giant that Jupiter is. Saturn is softer. It is a pale, creamy gold, like butterscotch or spun silk. It glows with a gentle inner warmth, a hazy ball of gas that seems to hum with a low, peaceful vibration. But the planet itself is merely the stage. The true masterpiece surrounds it, the rings. From a distance, they look solid, a perfect flat disk of silver record grooves circling the planet. But as we drift closer, floating weightlessly toward this magnificent structure, the solidity dissolves into something far more magical. These rings are not a solid road, they are a river made of billions upon billions of particles of pure ice. Imagine the most pristine winter morning you have ever seen, where the snow is untouched and glitters like diamond dust. Now take that image and spread it out across thousands of miles. That is the ring system. It is a suspension of crystals. Some of the pieces are as small as a grain of sand, others are as large as a house, and every single one of them is a tiny mirror, catching the distant sunlight and reflecting it back into the dark. This is a world of ice and silence. There is a mesmerizing rhythm here. The rings are spinning, but because they are so massive, the movement looks incredibly slow to the eye. It is like watching a glacier move or a cloud drift. It is motion without effort. Let your mind float right into the rings. Imagine you are hovering just above this plane of ice. Below you, the particles tumble gently. They drift, they float, they sparkle. There is no sound of them crashing. In the vacuum of space, the collisions are silent kisses. A tumbling boulder of ice nudges a cloud of snowflakes, and they simply drift apart again, continuing their eternal circle around the golden planet. This vast system is remarkably thin. Though it stretches out for hundreds of thousands of miles, in some places it is only 30 feet thick. It is a delicate sheet of frost suspended in the nothingness. But how does such a delicate structure stay so perfect? Why doesn't the ice drift away into space? Why doesn't it crash into the planet? This brings us to the most soothing concept in all of astronomy: the shepherd moons. Hidden among the rings, camouflaged by the ice, are tiny potato-shaped moons. Their names are ancient and poetic: Prometheus, Pandora, Pan, Daphnis. They are the guardians of the ice. They are the shepherds. Imagine a sheepdog tending to a flock of white sheep in a meadow. The sheep try to wander off, to stray from the path. The dog runs gently along the edge, barking softly, nudging them back into the fold. This is exactly what the shepherd moons do, but they do it with the invisible hand of gravity. Let's focus on the F ring, the thin, wispy outer strand of the ring system. On one side of the ring runs the moon Prometheus. On the other side runs Pandora. They are the celestial shepherds. As they orbit, their gravity gently tugs at the ice particles. If a piece of ice drifts too far out, Pandora pushes it back. If it drifts too far in, Prometheus pulls it forward. They do not touch the ice. They do not disturb the piece. They simply use their presence to keep order. Think of the comfort in that. Even here, in the cold vacuum of the outer solar system, there is guidance. There is a force that keeps things from falling apart. The flock of ice is kept safe, kept in line, kept in a perfect harmonious circle. It is a slow cosmic herding. Nudge, drift, push, float. It has been happening for millions of years. It will happen for millions more. It is a system of checks and balances that requires no effort, no fuel, no engines. It just is. Visualize yourself floating alongside one of these shepherd moons. You are riding on the back of Prometheus. It is a quiet, gray, cratered rock tumbling slowly through space. To your left is the vast, open darkness of the universe. To your right is the shimmering, flowing river of the rings. You watch the ice crystals stream by like a blizzard caught in time. The light catches the edges of the ice, prisms of blue, violet, and silver. It is the most spectacular light show in history, and there is no one here to see it but you. The Cassini division is a dark gap in the rings, a wide lane of empty space carved out by another moon, Mimas. It looks like a pause in a sheet of music. It is the silence between the notes. The rings are not a wall of noise. They are a melody of matter and empty space.
Ring, gap, ring, gap. Sound, silence, sound, silence. This visual repetition is hypnotic. It calms the brain. There is nothing chaotic here. The rings obey the laws of physics with absolute surrender. They do not fight the gravity. They accept it. They flow where they are told to flow. As you look down at the planet Saturn itself, you see the shadow of the rings cast upon the golden cloud tops. It is a series of long, dark stripes across the planet's equator. As Saturn turns, the shadows lengthen and shorten, marking the passage of time on a scale that makes human history look like a second. A year on Saturn is 29 Earth years. The seasons here are 7 years long. Imagine a winter that lasts for 7 years. Not a harsh winter, but a long, slow period of cooling. Time here is stretched out like taffy. There is no rush to get anywhere. The shepherd moons are in no hurry. They have all of eternity to tend their flock. Breathe in the imaginary air of this place, clean, cold, and pure. It is a mental palate cleanser. The clutter of your day, the noise of the traffic, the endless stream of information, it all freezes and shatters here, turning into harmless dust that joins the rings. You are part of the flow now. You are a particle of ice, weightless and free. You are drifting in the stream, held safe by the gravity of the shepherds. You don't have to steer. You don't have to worry about the path. The path is a circle, and you are being guided. Let the golden light of Saturn warm your face from below. Let the star-filled blackness above cool your forehead. Watch the slow rotation. The rings are a giant mobile hanging over the crib of the solar system. They spin round and round, a hypnotic wheel of fortune that never stops. Round and round, soft and slow, ice and gold. The shepherd moons are watching. Prometheus is ahead. Pandora is behind. You are safe in the middle. The flock is together. The night is quiet. Let the mesmerizing beauty of the rings blur into a soft haze behind your eyes. The sparkle of the ice dims to a gentle glow. The vastness of space becomes a comforting blanket. Drift along the river of ice. Float with the shepherds. Sleep in the shadow of the golden giant. We have traveled far tonight. We have sat by the prehistoric fires, stood within the stone circles, walked the lunar plains, and drifted through the icy rings of Saturn. Now it is time to leave the neighborhood. It is time to leave the sharp, defined edges of the planets and the hard points of starlight behind. We are journeying out into the deep, deep velvet of interstellar space, to a place where the universe softens. Imagine your consciousness expanding, floating upward and outward, passing the boundary of our sun's influence. The darkness here is absolute, but it is not empty. Ahead of us, hanging in the void like a mirage, is a faint glow. As we drift closer, the glow resolves into a shape. It is not a star. It is not a planet. It is a cloud. We have arrived at a nebula. Specifically, we are drifting toward the constellation Serpens, to a place known by astronomers as the Eagle Nebula. But tonight, let us call it by its true nature, the stellar nursery. In the vast, cold emptiness of space, these nebulae are the sanctuaries. They are the wombs of the cosmos. They are gigantic clouds of gas and dust stretching for light years in every direction. When you look at them through the eyes of the Hubble telescope, you do not see cold, dead space. You see art. You see texture. You see something that looks remarkably like the clouds you might see on a stormy afternoon on Earth, but illuminated from within by a holy light. Let us float toward the heart of this nebula, to a structure that has captivated humanity since we first saw it, the pillars of creation. Visualize them in your mind. They rise up from the bottom of the cosmos like 3 gigantic towers of stone, but they are not stone. They are made of cool molecular hydrogen and dust. They look like stalagmites rising from the floor of a cave, or like underwater coral reefs reaching for the surface of the ocean. They are incredibly beautiful, painted in colors of deep, rusty amber, soft brown and hazy gold, outlined by a halo of electric blue. There is a profound sense of softness here. Everything in the nebula is diffused. There are no sharp corners. There are only billowing folds of gas rolling over one another in slow motion. Imagine the texture of heavy velvet or thick, unspun cotton. That is what surrounds you now. These pillars are vast, so vast that our entire solar system could fit inside one small bump on the side of a pillar and be lost completely. But this size is not frightening, it is comforting. It means there is room here, there is space to hide, there is space to rest. The pillars of creation are named because this is where stars are born. But birth in the cosmos is not a violent, sudden event. It is a slow, gentle process of gathering. Deep inside these dense, cloudy columns, hidden from the eyes of the universe, are the embryos of stars. Astronomers call them protostars. Think of them as sleeping giants. Imagine the process. It begins with gravity. A small knot of dust begins to pull together. It draws a blanket of gas around itself. It spins slowly, gathering more and more material, wrapping itself tighter and tighter in its cocoon. It is a process of incubation. Inside these dense knots, the temperature is rising, but the star has not yet ignited. It is sleeping. It is waiting. It is growing warm in the cold dark, protected by layers and layers of dust. This is the most relaxing thought in the universe. Even the stars need to rest before they can shine. They do not just appear and start burning. They spend thousands, sometimes millions of years just gathering their strength. They spend eons in the dark, wrapped in the nebula, preparing for their moment. If the stars can take their time, so can you. Imagine that you are one of those protostars. You are floating deep inside the middle pillar. The chaos of the universe is locked outside. Here, inside the cloud, it is dark, warm, and silent. You are wrapped in a blanket of stardust that is trillions of miles thick. Nothing can disturb you. No noise can reach you. You are held in a suspension of perfect peace. The nebula acts as a buffer. The radiation and winds from the outside universe crash against the walls of the pillars, illuminating the edges with that beautiful blue glow. But inside, the air is still. Inside, the dust remains undisturbed.
Astronomers have a term for the small, dense pockets where stars are forming. EGGs, evaporating gaseous globules. It is a funny name, but accurate. These are protective shells. You are safe within your shell. Visualizing the movement of a nebula is like watching smoke drift in a still room. It swirls, it eddies, it folds in on itself. But it happens so slowly that if you watched it for a human lifetime, you would see no movement at all. It is a stillness that looks like motion. Drift, curl, expand, fade, gather, settle. The colors of the nebula are soothing to the spirit. The rusty reds and browns are the colors of the earth, of clay and soil, grounding you even in deep space. The background is a soft, hazy green, the color of oxygen. It feels like a garden, a cosmic garden where the seeds of light are planted. There is a concept in astronomy called light echoes. Sometimes a flash of light will ripple through the clouds, illuminating different layers of dust one by one, like a scanner moving across a page. It creates a visual echo, a pulse that travels through the fog. Imagine a pulse of warm relaxation traveling through your body like that light, starting at your head, moving down to your shoulders, illuminating your chest, your hands, your legs. a wave of light moving through the dust, a wave of sleep moving through your muscles. As you look at the pillars, remember that you are looking at history. Because the Eagle Nebula is 7,000 light years away, the image we see is 7,000 years old. We are looking at a ghost. In fact, some astronomers believe that a supernova shock wave may have already knocked these pillars down, but the light of that destruction hasn't reached us yet. For us, right now, they are still standing. They are eternal. In the safety of the night sky, the pillars are frozen in their majesty. They are a monument to the slow, quiet work of creation. The silence here is different from the silence of the moon. The moon's silence was thin and sharp. The silence of the stellar nursery is thick. It is a muffled silence, like being underwater or buried under a heavy quilt. It absorbs sound. It absorbs worry. You can feel the pressure of the cloud around you, not a crushing pressure, but a hugging pressure, like a weighted blanket. The gravity of the nebula holds you together. It centers you. Inside the cloud, there is no up or down. There is only the center. You are floating in a sea of potential. Think of the atoms in your body. Every heavy atom in your blood, in your bones, was once cooked inside a star. But before that, those atoms were just dust, floating in a nebula like this one. You have been here before. This is not a strange place. This is home. This is where you came from. Returning to the nebula is returning to the beginning. It is returning to the time before you had a name, before you had responsibilities, before you were separate from the universe. The gas clouds glow softly, lighting up the dark from the inside. It is a night light that spans light years. The great towers of dust stand guard. The sleeping stars turn slowly in their sleep, gathering warmth. You are drifting deeper into the fog now. The outlines of the pillars are fading, replaced by a warm, dark mist. You are losing the visual, relying on the feeling of being held, the feeling of being made, the feeling of waiting. There is no rush to shine. There is no rush to burn. Tonight, you are just dust and gas. Tonight, you are just potential. You can stay in the nursery as long as you like. The universe is vast, and it is patient. It will wait for you to wake up. But for now, the blanket of the Eagle Nebula is tucked tight around you. The cosmic dust is settling. The silence is complete. Sleep, little star. Sleep in the safety of the cloud. We leave the soft, cloudy embrace of the stellar nurseries now. We drift away from the pillars of creation, floating back out into the open, crystal-clear ocean of the void. We have explored the places of the universe. Now we are going to explore the time of the universe. Tonight, as you lie in the dark, you are not just a person in a room. You are a time traveler. Look up in your mind's eye. The sky is filled with thousands of pinpricks of light. We call them stars, but they are actually ghosts. They are echoes. They are messages sent from a past that no longer exists, arriving at your doorstep only now. This is the most poetic truth of astronomy. We never see the universe as it is. We only see it as it was. This happens because of the speed of light. Light is the fastest thing there is, traveling at 186,000 miles per second. It is a speed so fast it feels instant to us here on Earth. When you flip a switch, the bulb glows immediately. But the universe is so vast, so incredibly wide, that even light takes time to cross it. It takes time for the news to travel. Think of light as a courier, a runner carrying a letter across a vast, dark plain. The runner is fast, but the distance is infinite.
When you look at the moon, you are not seeing the moon as it is this second. You are seeing it as it was 1.3 seconds ago. That is the time it took for the light to bounce off the cratered gray surface and reach your eye. It is a tiny delay, a heartbeat of time. When you look at the sun, though we never look directly, you are seeing it as it was 8.5 years ago. If the sun were to suddenly vanish, we would still feel its warmth and see its light for 8 whole minutes before the darkness arrived. We live in a permanent delay. We are always cushioned by a buffer of time. But as we look deeper, the time travel begins in earnest. Turn your gaze to the brightest star in the night sky, Sirius, the dog star. It burns with a piercing blue-white fire. But the light hitting your retina tonight left Sirius 8.5 years ago.
Think back to where you were 8 years ago. Think of the person you were then, the worries you had, the things that seemed so urgent. That version of you is gone, but the light from that moment is just arriving now. Looking at Sirius is like looking into a mirror of your own recent past. It is a gentle reminder that time passes, that you have grown, and that the light continues to travel regardless of what happens here on Earth. Now, let us look further. Find the North Star, Polaris. It is the anchor of the sky, the star that guided the sailors and the explorers. Polaris is about 320 to 400 light-years away. When the light you see tonight left the surface of that star, it was the year 1600 or thereabouts. Imagine the world of that light's origin. It was a world of silence and wood smoke. Shakespeare was still writing in London, his quill scratching against parchment by candlelight. The Pilgrims had not yet set sail for the New World. The great forests of America were untouched by industry. There was no electricity, no engines, no internet. The light from Polaris carries the memory of that quiet world. It has been traveling through the vacuum of space for 4 centuries, passing through wars and revolutions, through the rise and fall of nations, silently gliding through the dark, only to end its journey tonight in your eye. You are making contact with history. You are touching the Renaissance with your gaze. This distance is a relief. It puts space between you and the now. Often our stress comes from the immediate, the email that needs answering, the alarm that will ring, the noise of the present. But the stars offer you an escape hatch. They invite you to look back, to dwell in the ancient past where your current problems do not exist. When you look at Polaris, your worries haven't been invented yet. In the frame of reference of that light, you are not even born. There is a deep existential freedom in that thought. You are small, and you are temporary, and the light is eternal. Let us go deeper. Look for the red giant, Betelgeuse, in the shoulder of Orion. It is a massive, dying star, glowing with a somber orange hue. It is roughly 640 light-years away. The light you see tonight left that star in the Middle Ages. It began its journey when knights were still riding across Europe, when the great cathedrals were being built, stone by heavy stone. Think of the patience of that light. It has flown through the empty silence for 600 years. It has dodged dust clouds and asteroids. It has never stopped, never slowed down, never rested. It has been rushing toward you for centuries just to bring you a single photon of orange light. Accept that gift. Let it land softly on your consciousness. And now, look for the faint smudge in the constellation Andromeda. It is not a star. It is an entire galaxy, the Andromeda Galaxy. It looks like a tiny cloud, but it is a city of 1 trillion stars. It is 2.5 million light years away. 2.5 million years. When the light you see tonight left Andromeda, humans did not exist. We were not even walking upright. The Earth was in an ice age. Mammoths walked the tundra. Saber-toothed tigers stalked the plains. There was no language. There was no fire. There was only the wild, raw planet. That light has been traveling for the entire history of the human species. It has crossed the terrifyingly vast gulf between the galaxies, the deepest void where there is absolutely nothing to reach you. Looking at Andromeda is looking at the dawn of time. Does your heart rate slow down when you think of this? It should. The urgency of today melts away when you are faced with a light that is 2 million years old. The stars are a museum. The sky is a history book that is always open. Everything you see up there is a memory. The universe is holding on to the past, keeping it safe for you. Visualizing the journey of the light is a hypnotic way to fall asleep. Imagine a single beam of light leaving a star. It bursts forth from the fiery surface, released into the freedom of space. It travels in a straight line, a pure, unwavering arrow. It passes through the cold, dark clouds of the interstellar medium. It flies past lonely planets that have no names. It glides through the silence, absolute, ringing silence. For years, for centuries, for millennia, it travels. It sees nothing but the dark. And then, finally, it reaches a small blue planet near a yellow sun. It passes the moon. It enters the atmosphere, scattering slightly, turning the sky blue, and it lands on your face. You are the destination. The universe has been sending you letters for millions of years. You are connected to the deep past by these thin threads of luminescence. There's a concept in physics called time dilation. The faster you move, the slower time passes. For a particle of light, because it moves at the speed of light, time does not exist. For the photon, the journey from the star to your eye was instant. It was born, and then it was here. But for us, waiting on the slow, heavy earth, it was an eon. We are the watchers of time. As you lie in bed, imagine that the room is filling with these echoes. The light of the stars is soaking into the walls, into the sheets. You are sleeping in a library of ancient stories. The past is not gone, it is just far away. And tonight, the distance is closing. Let the speed of light slow down your racing mind. If it takes 100 years for a message to cross the stars, surely you can wait until morning to solve your problems. The universe is in no rush. The light has all the time in the world, and now so do you. Feel the perspective shifting. You are floating in the stream of time. Backwards, backwards, past the skyscrapers, past the castles, past the pyramids, past the ice ages. You are drifting toward the source. The echoes are becoming quieter. The light is becoming softer. You are traveling back to the silence before the light began. Rest now in the arms of history. The stars are shining their ancient lanterns to keep you company. The past is watching over you, steady and bright.
Let the light that traveled centuries carry you into the dream world. We have traveled far tonight. We have drifted through the ancient past of the starlight. We have rested in the nurseries of the nebulas, and now we return closer to home, but to a place so strange and beautiful it feels like a dream. We are heading to the outer rim of our own solar system. We are going to the frozen frontier. Leave the warmth of the inner planets behind. Leave the golden glow of Saturn. We are venturing into the deep, deep cold.
The sun here is no longer a blinding disk of fire, it is merely the brightest star in a sky of eternal twilight. Ahead of us lie the twin giants, the blue guardians, Uranus and Neptune. Imagine approaching them. They are not made of rock and stone like the Earth. They are made of gas, ice, and mystery. First, there is Uranus, a pale robin's egg blue, rolling on its side like a marble that has lost its way. It is the coldest planet, a sphere of silent, icy cyan fog. And further out, the sentinel of the edge is Neptune. It is a stunning, deep azure, a color so rich and saturated it looks like the deepest part of the ocean has been wrapped around a planet. These are the ice giants. They are massive, heavy, and silent. They hold the secrets of the solar system in their thick, swirling atmospheres. And deep inside them, hidden from the eyes of telescopes, hidden from the light of the sun, a phenomenon is occurring that is more magical than any fairy tale. It is raining, but it is not raining water, it is raining diamonds. Let us descend into the atmosphere of Neptune to witness this silent miracle. Imagine you are a traveler made of pure consciousness. You can float unharmed through the cold, through the wind, through the dark. You drift down into the upper clouds of Neptune. The view is breathtaking. You are surrounded by vast canyons of blue clouds. The methane in the atmosphere absorbs the red light of the sun and reflects only the blue, creating a world that is a monochrome masterpiece of cobalt, indigo, and sapphire. It is a world of water and ice, but not as we know it. It is a supercritical fluid, a dense, heavy ocean of gas that feels like a thick liquid. As you sink deeper, the light from the sun fades away. The azure turns to navy, and the navy turns to the black of the deep ocean. But you are not afraid of the dark. The dark here is a blanket. It is a heavy, comforting weight. On Earth, we use weighted blankets to help us sleep, to feel held and secure. On Neptune, the atmosphere itself is the ultimate weighted blanket. The pressure builds as you descend, a massive, hugging force that holds everything together. It is here, in this crushing dark, that the magic happens. The atmosphere is rich in carbon. As the pressure mounts, squeezing the atoms tighter and tighter, the carbon separates from the methane. The atoms are pressed together with such force that they have no choice but to organize. They align, they bond, they crystallize. In the absolute darkness, millions of tiny sparks begin to form. Diamonds. They are not the cut and polished stones you see in a jewelry store ring. They are raw, perfect crystals. Some are the size of sand grains, others are the size of pebbles. Some might even be as large as boulders. And then they begin to fall. Close your eyes and visualize this.
The temperature here is actually warm, a hidden heat generated by the planet itself. It is a cozy warmth, like a hearth in the middle of winter. You are insulated from the freezing void of space by thousands of miles of cloud. You are safe in the deep. Let your mind wander to the other blue giant, Uranus. The process is happening there, too. Two massive planets spinning silently in the dark, filled with falling gems. For millions of years, this rain has been falling. While the dinosaurs walked the earth, the diamonds were falling on Neptune. While the pyramids were being built, the diamonds were falling on Neptune. While you were rushing through your day today, the diamonds were falling on Neptune. It is a constant. It is a rhythm that never breaks. Knowing that something so beautiful is happening right now, far away, without any human intervention, is deeply relaxing. It takes the pressure off us. We don't have to control everything. The universe is capable of creating beauty all on its own. We are just visitors. We are just dreamers watching the show. Imagine catching one of these diamonds in your hand. It is warm from the friction of the fall. It is smooth. It glows faintly in the dark. It is a token of the cosmos, a reminder that even under pressure, especially under pressure, something beautiful can be created.
The stress you feel in your waking life is just the atmosphere pressing down, trying to turn your coal into a diamond. But now it is time to rest. The work is done. The crystal is formed. Now you can just fall. Fall with the rain. Drift down through the layers of blue velvet. Down, down, down toward the center. The storm is far above you now. The winds are just a distant murmur, a white noise that hums in the background. Here in the diamond rain, there is only the slow dance of the falling stones. Flash and dark. Flash and dark. The visual is hypnotic. It cleanses the mind of clutter. There are no emails here. There are no deadlines. There is only the chemistry of the deep. The blue giants are the silent introverts of the solar family. They keep to themselves. They keep their treasure hidden. They invite you to do the same. Go inward. Go deep. Find the quiet place where your own diamonds are sleeping. The atmosphere wraps you up tight. The pressure feels like a hug that lasts forever. You are safe in the eye of the azure storm. You are wealthy with rest. You are heavy with sleep. Let the diamonds rain down around you, building a fortress of peace as you drift off into the mysteries of the deep blue dark. We leave the heavy, pressurized atmosphere of the blue giants now. We rise up from the diamond rain of Neptune, breaking the surface of the clouds, ascending higher and higher until the planets are just specks of dust behind us. We are pulling back to see the grandest view of all. We are stepping out of our house to look at the city we live in. We are drifting into the embrace of the Milky Way. To the ancients, before telescopes and satellites, this was the greatest mystery of the night. On a clear, moonless summer night, they would look up and see a band of luminous white light stretching across the sky. It looked like a celestial pathway, a bridge of pearl dust sprayed across the obsidian dark. Tonight, we are a traveler on this silver river. Imagine that you are lying on a small, comfortable raft. The raft is lined with soft furs and velvet cushions. You are floating not on water, but on starlight. The current is gentle, slow, and steady. There are no rapids here. There are no rocks. There is only the smooth, silent glide of the cosmos. As you drift along, look at the water around you. It is made of billions of stars. From a distance, they blend together into a haze, a fog of light. But as you float closer, you see them individually. There are red dwarfs, glowing like dying embers. There are blue giants, burning with a cool, clean fire. There are yellow suns, just like ours, warm and familiar. You are drifting through the Orion Arm, a quiet suburb of the galaxy. It is peaceful here. The stars are spaced far apart, giving you room to breathe. The silence is profound. It is the silence of deep space, a vacuum that swallows all noise, leaving only the rhythm of your own heart. Thump, thump, drift. Thump, thump, glide. The Milky Way is a spiral. It is a pinwheel that turns with agonizing slowness. It takes the sun roughly 230 million years to make just one trip around the center. Think about that time scale.
The last time our solar system was in this exact spot in the galaxy, the dinosaurs were just beginning to walk the Earth. The flowers had not yet evolved. The continents were shaped differently. That is how slow the river flows. This extreme slowness is the ultimate sedative. In our daily lives, we rush. We measure time in minutes, in seconds. But the galaxy measures time in eras. To the Milky Way, your entire life is less than a blink.
This doesn't make you insignificant, it makes you free. It means you don't have to rush. The river is moving you. You don't have to paddle. You don't have to steer. You can just lie back on your raft, look up at the canopy of light, and let the galaxy carry you. As we drift further inward, the river becomes brighter. We are approaching the galactic core. In the constellation of Sagittarius, the stars become denser. The steam of the river thickens. It is a city of light. Ancient cultures often saw this band of light as a path of souls. Many Native American tribes believed that when you slept, your spirit would walk along this starry path, visiting the ancestors, gathering wisdom before returning to the body at dawn. Sleep, then, is a journey home. It is a nightly commute to the stars. Feel the sensation of weightlessness. In space, there is no up or down. Your body feels light, as if you are floating in a saltwater tank. The tension in your lower back releases. The tightness in your neck dissolves. You are unburdened by gravity. You are just a speck of consciousness floating in the stream. The center of our galaxy is anchored by a supermassive black hole, Sagittarius A. But do not fear it. In the context of our sleep story, it is not a monster. It is the anchor. It is the great pivot. It is the gravitational hub that holds the entire spiral together. Without it, the stars would drift away into the lonely void. It is the heavy, silent heart of the galaxy, keeping everyone close, keeping the family together. It draws everything into a slow, graceful orbit. It is the reason we have a shape. It is the reason we have a path. Imagine the view from above. If you could fly out of the galaxy and look down, you would see a magnificent spiral of white and blue glowing against the black background of the universe. It looks like a hurricane made of diamonds or cream stirred into black coffee. And you are in there somewhere, tucked safely into one of the arms, spinning slowly in the dark. There is a famous thought from the astronomer Carl Sagan. We are made of star stuff. The nitrogen in your DNA, the calcium in your teeth, the iron in your blood, the carbon in your apple pie were made in the interiors of collapsing stars. You are part of this river in a literal sense. You are not a stranger drifting on the water. You are the water. You are a small piece of the Milky Way that has woken up for a moment to look at itself. And now you are a piece of the Milky Way that is going back to sleep. Let the current take you. Drift past the nebulas we visited earlier. Drift past the dead silence of the black holes. Drift past the binary stars that dance around each other. The Great Rift is a dark lane running through the Milky Way, where dust clouds block the light. It looks like a riverbed. It adds depth and shadow to the stream. Enter that shadow now. The light is too bright for sleep, so we drift into the Great Rift. The darkness here is soft and powdery. It is a shade of black that feels like velvet against the skin. Here, the visual stimulation fades. The light of the billion stars is muffled by the dust. It is the bedroom of the galaxy. The Milky Way is immense, 100,000 light-years across. It is a scale we cannot comprehend, and so we surrender to it. Surrender is the key to sleep. You cannot force sleep. You can only float towards it. You can only allow the current to take you there. As you lie there, imagine the gentle rotation of the earth.
Then imagine the rotation of the sun around the galaxy. Wheels within wheels, circles within circles. You are being rocked by the motion of the universe. It is a smooth ride. There are no bumps in the vacuum of space. The mythological river flows on, the silver river, the river of heaven. It flows towards the dawn, but the dawn is far away. For now, there is only the starlight and the silence. You are safe in the suburbs of the galaxy. The view is beautiful. The ride is smooth. Feel yourself becoming part of the flow. Your breathing aligns with the expansion and contraction of the stars. Your heartbeat syncs with the pulse of the variables. You are drifting down the Milky Way, drinking in the peace of the cosmos. The stars are your companions. The dark is your blanket. The galaxy is your cradle. Drift on, traveler. The river knows the way. Float gently into the deep, star-filled night. We have traveled to the ends of the galaxy and back. We have seen the birth of stars and the reign of diamonds. But now, as we drift toward the end of our journey, we focus on something smaller. We focus on a single, shimmering object, no larger than a dinner plate, floating silently in the absolute void between the stars. It is the most beautiful gift humanity has ever sent to the universe. It is the golden record. To understand the peace of this object, we must travel back in time to the late summer of 1977. Imagine the world as it was then. The cars were boxy and colorful. The music was changing, and the air was filled with a sense of new horizons. At Cape Canaveral in Florida, under the humid, salty air of the Atlantic coast, two robotic travelers were waiting on the launch pad, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2.
They were built to explore the outer planets, to send us pictures of Jupiter's storms and Saturn's rings. And they did. They completed their mission with perfection. But their creators knew that once the planets were passed, these ships would not stop. They would keep going. They would run out of fuel, their cameras would shut down, their radios would eventually go silent, but momentum would carry them onward. They would leave our solar system and drift forever into the great dark ocean of the Milky Way. So a group of dreamers, led by the astronomer Carl Sagan, decided to put a message on board. Imagine the object they created. It is a phonograph record, a technology that feels quaint and nostalgic to us now. It is made of copper, coated in pure gold to protect it from the erosion of cosmic dust. It is housed in an aluminum cover etched with scientific diagrams, a map of pulsars to show where we live, and drawings of how to play the record. It is a time capsule. It is a bottle in the cosmic ocean. Tonight, visualize that golden disk. It is spinning slowly in your mind, glinting in the faint starlight. It is the only golden thing for light years in any direction. What makes this object so relaxing to think about is what it carries. It does not carry weapons. It does not carry warnings. It carries a greeting. It carries the sounds of a peaceful day on Earth. If you could place the needle on that record right now, out there in the silence, what would you hear? You would hear the sound of rain falling on a forest canopy. Patter, patter, hush. You would hear the sound of a mother kissing a child. You would hear the rhythmic crashing of surf on a beach. You would hear the wind whispering through tall grass. You would hear the heartbeat of a person in love. These sounds were chosen to represent us not as warriors or conquerors, but as living, breathing beings who value comfort and connection. The record creates a permanent memory of the Earth at peace. No matter what happens to us, no matter how the centuries turn, that sound of the rain is preserved in gold. It is safe. There is music, too. Imagine the strange, beautiful concert playing in the void. There is Bach's Brandenburg Concerto, its mathematical perfection spiraling out into the chaos. There is the haunting, soulful hum of Dark Was the Night, Cold Was the Ground by Blind Willie Johnson. There is the energetic joy of Chuck Berry. There are folk songs from Bulgaria, flute music from Japan, percussion from Senegal. It is a playlist for eternity. And then there are the greetings. The record holds spoken words in 55 different languages. Hello. Greetings to our friends in the stars. We wish you peace. One of the most touching messages comes from a child. A young boy simply says, "Hello," from the children of planet Earth. Think of the innocence of that message. It is drifting out there right now. Voyager 1 is currently billions of miles away, far beyond the orbit of Pluto, far beyond the influence of the sun's magnetic wind. It has crossed the heliopause, the boundary where our solar system ends and true interstellar space begins. It is in the interstellar medium, the space between the stars. It is the quietest place imaginable. There is no air, there is no weather, there is only the thin, cold soup of ancient atoms. In this deep freeze, there is no decay. On Earth, things rust, crumble, and fade. Books turn to dust, buildings fall. But in the vacuum of space, the golden record is virtually immortal. It will look exactly the same a billion years from now as it does tonight. The gold will still shine. The grooves will still hold the music. There is a profound comfort in this permanence. It means that we are not lost. A piece of us, the best piece of us, is safe. It is floating on a calm, endless sea, preserved forever. Visualizing the Voyager probe is a lesson in letting go. The probe has done its job. It has finished its tasks. Now it is simply drifting. It is caught in the gravitational currents of the galaxy, orbiting the center of the Milky Way, just like the stars. It doesn't need to struggle. It doesn't need to steer. It has surrendered completely to the flow of the universe. You can do the same. You have finished your tasks for the day. You have sent your emails, done your work, cared for your family. The launch is over. The mission is complete. Now is the time to cut the engines. Now is the time to drift. Imagine you are traveling alongside Voyager. The probe is small, about the size of a compact car. It looks like a delicate insect with a large dish antenna. It is silent. Its systems are powering down one by one to save energy. It is going to sleep. The gold record is bolted to the side, a shield against the unknown. Look back toward home. From where Voyager is, the Earth is invisible. It is too small, too faint, lost in the glare of the distant sun. The sun itself is just a bright star, no larger than the others. This perspective is not scary, it is liberating. All the noise of the world, all the arguments, all the traffic, all the stress, it is all gone. It has vanished into the distance. Here, there is only the sensation of floating. The probe is moving at 38,000 miles per hour, but in the emptiness of space, there is no sensation of speed. It feels like standing still. It feels like hovering. Drift, glide, wait. The scientists calculated that the golden record has a shelf life of perhaps 1 billion years. Think of that time span. Long before the pyramids have worn away to sand, long before the continents have merged and separated again, long before the mountains have eroded into plains.
The record will still be there. The child's voice saying hello will still be etched in the gold. It is a message in a bottle thrown into the biggest ocean of all. And maybe, just maybe, someone will find it, or maybe not. Perhaps the beauty is simply in the act of sending it. We shouted into the dark, not with a scream, but with a song. We told the universe that we were here and that we loved the sound of rain. As you lie in your bed, let the golden record become a symbol of your own mind. Let your thoughts turn to gold, heavy, precious, and still. Let the memories of your day fade, leaving only the greatest hits, the moments of love, the moments of peace, the moments of beauty. Preserve those. Let the rest drift away into the vacuum. You are a traveler too. You are drifting through the night. The room around you is your capsule. The silence of the house is your interstellar space. You are safe. You are preserved. Voyager is out there right now, at this very second. While you breathe in and out, it glides another mile into the dark. It is the lonely, brave guardian of our history. It is watching the stars for us so we can close our eyes. It is carrying our dreams into the infinite. Feel the connection to that distant traveler. A thread of gold connects your heart to that disk in the void. It is a thread of peace. The silence of the outer dark is wrapping around you now. The engines are off. The radio is quiet. The journey continues in the dream time. Float on, Voyager. Float on, dreamer. Drift into the forever. We have reached the final stage of our journey. We have sat by the first fires of the Paleolithic era. We have wandered through the stone circles of the Neolithic. We have sailed the seas of the moon, danced with the moons of Jupiter, drifted through the rings of Saturn, and floated down the river of the Milky Way. We have sent our golden greeting out into the void. Now we go further. We go to the end. Or perhaps we go back to the beginning. We are traveling beyond the stars, beyond the galaxies, beyond the specific shapes of matter. We are entering the realm of the great silence. We are tuning our ears to the oldest sound in existence. In 1965, two astronomers in New Jersey, Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson, were listening to the sky. They built a massive horn antenna, a strange-looking machine aimed at the heavens. They were trying to listen to radio waves from our galaxy, but they encountered a problem. No matter where they pointed their antenna, whether it was day or night, summer or winter, they heard a sound. It was a low, steady hiss. Shh. It was a static hum, a drone that never wavered. At first, they thought it was a mistake. They checked the wiring. They chased away the pigeons nesting in the horn. They cleaned the machine, but the sound remained. It was coming from everywhere at once. It was coming from the spaces between the stars. What they had found was the cosmic microwave background. Imagine this sound as the arm of the universe. It is the afterglow of the Big Bang itself. When the universe began, it was a hot, dense soup of energy. As it expanded, it cooled, it stretched, and that original blinding light was stretched out into invisible microwaves. The static they heard, and the static you can see on an old analog television set between channels, is the ghost of that first light. It is the fossil light from the moment the universe opened its eyes 13.8 billion years ago. Tonight, let that background hum be your blanket. The universe is not cold and empty. It is filled with this relic radiation. It is a bath of photons that permeates every cubic inch of space. You are currently bathing in the afterglow of creation. It is a temperature of 2.7 Kelvin, just a tiny bit above absolute zero. It is the baseline temperature of space. Think of it as the embers of a great fire that has burned down to a comfortable, glowing warmth. The violent, bright explosion is long gone. What is left is a soft, uniform energy. It is the ultimate constant. In a life full of variables and changes, the cosmic microwave background never changes. It is the wallpaper of the cosmos. There is a profound peace in this uniformity. When scientists map this light, they see a modeled oval of blue and orange, a baby picture of the universe before there were stars, before there were galaxies, before there was noise. It represents a time of potential. But there is another concept here, one that leads us gently into the deepest sleep of all. It is the concept of entropy and the eventual sleep of the universe. Astronomers tell us that the universe is expanding. It is getting bigger and bigger, stretching out into the infinite. As it expands, it cools. The stars will eventually use up their fuel. The galaxies will drift further apart until they can no longer see each other. The frantic activity of the cosmos is slowing down. This might sound sad in the daylight, but at night it is the most relaxing thought imaginable. It means that the natural state of existence is rest. The universe is trying to sleep. It is moving from a state of high energy, chaos and heat, to a state of low energy, order and cool silence. It is a slow, graceful winding down. Imagine the universe as a person who has had a very long, busy day. The Big Bang was the alarm clock ringing. The formation of the stars was the work of the morning. The spinning of the planets was the rush of the afternoon. But now it is the evening of the cosmos. The lights are being dimmed. The tempo is slowing. You are a microcosm of this universe. Your day follows the same pattern. You had your explosion of energy in the morning. You had your expansion. And now you are mirroring the cosmos. You are cooling down. You are expanding your awareness into the dark. You are settling in to your own low-energy state.
The heat death of the universe is a dramatic name for a peaceful event. It simply means equilibrium. It means everything balances out. No more hot spots, no more cold spots. Just a smooth, endless sea of perfect stillness. Let yourself float in that equilibrium. There is no more work to be done. The stars do not need to be lit, they are fading. The planets do not need to be spun, they are drifting. The universe is tucking itself in. Listen to the silence of the room you are in. That silence is connected to the silence outside your window, which is connected to the silence of the atmosphere, which is connected to the silence of the space between the galaxies. It is one unbroken chain of quiet. The great silence is not an absence of sound, it is a presence of peace. It is the canvas upon which the dream of life is painted. And now the paint is drying, the canvas is being rolled up. Feel the radiation of the cosmic background as a heavy, warm quilt. It wraps around the earth, it wraps around your house, it wraps around you. It shields you from the nothingness. You are held in the fabric of space-time. We have traveled 13.8 billion years to get to this moment, to this specific second where your head rests on the pillow. The iron in your blood was forged in the stars we saw. The water in your cells came from the comets we passed. The carbon in your breath was cooked in the nebulas. You are the universe experiencing itself. And now, the universe is tired. Let go of the history. Let go of the campfires of the ancestors. They have burned out. Let go of the stone circles. They are standing still in the mist. Let go of the planets. They are turning on their own. Let go of the golden record. It is drifting safely in the void. There is only this moment, the now, the soft hum of existence. Your breath is the expansion of the universe.
Inhale, the universe grows. Exhale, the universe settles. You are drifting into the era of dark energy. This is a force that pushes everything away, creating space. Let that dark energy push away your thoughts, push away the worries of tomorrow, push away the memories of yesterday. Create a vast, empty space in your mind, a space where there is nothing but starlight and silence. The dark is not empty, it is full of potential dreams. The light has traveled for centuries just to kiss your eyelids goodnight. The diamond rain is falling to lull you to sleep. The galaxy is spiraling to rock your cradle. You have seen it all. You have witnessed the grandeur of creation. You have touched the face of the deep. And now the tour is over. The Museum of the Cosmos is closing for the night. The velvet ropes are being drawn. The lights are turning off, galaxy by galaxy, star by star, until there is only the soft, warm afterglow. You are safe. You are small. You are infinite. The universe loves you, for you are made of it. It wants you to rest. It wants you to join it in the great sleep. Close your eyes on the history. Open your mind to the silence. Drift away, traveler. Drift away into the deep, dark, beautiful peace. Good night, Earth. Good night, stars. Good night.